So to make a magic ring, you're going to wrap your yarn around your fingers like so. Insert your hook into this hole and pull this yarn through. Then chain 1 to secure. So for this project, I think for the entire 5 granny squares you're going to be making, you're always going to be required to chain 3 chains as your first stitch. The next stitch we're going to be using is the single crochet stitch, and this is how you make a single crochet. Insert your hook into the stitch or the magic ring depending on the instructions, and yarn over like so, pull through, then yarn over, pull through the 2 loops that you have on your hook. And that's how you make a single crochet stitch. To make a chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. To make a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch or magic ring depending on the instruction, then yarn over like so, pull through. Now you have 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the 3 loops that you have on your hook, and that's how you make a half double crochet. To make a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch or magic ring depending on the instruction, then yarn over, pull through like so. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops, and there you have it. This is how to make a double crochet. To make a treble crochet, you're going to yarn over 2 times like so, 1 and 2, then insert your hook into the next stitch like so, yarn over, pull through the stitch, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you're left with 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you're left with 1, 2. Now yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops, and there you have it, a treble crochet. To make a double treble crochet, you're going to yarn over 3 times, 1, 2, 3, like so. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook. Now insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So you should have 4 loops on your hook like so. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you should have 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And that's how you make a double treble crochet. Thank you. To begin our very first square, we're going to start by making a magic ring. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, not to worry, I'll be uploading a video later on how to make all of these beautiful heart granny squares without a magic ring. But if you're interested to learn how to make it, this is how you make a magic ring. To make a magic ring, you're going to go into your hands like this and wrap the yarn around your finger like so. Form it kind of like an X shape, then go round again like this. Now you're going to take your hook and insert it into here and pull this through like so. Once you've done that, chain 1 to secure, and that's how to make the magic ring. If you didn't get how I made this, you can go back and watch my slow illustration on how to make the magic ring. Now the next thing you're going to do is to chain 2 extra chains. This is going to count as 1 double crochet. Now go into your magic ring with 2 double crochets. Then chain 2 like so. So once you've done that, you're going to place 3 double crochets inside the magic ring. Then chain 2. So this is basically like we making a normal granny square. Now after you've chained 2, go in with 3 double crochets again. Then chain 2. Now I'm going to tug at this yarn, this loose end here, to make my magic ring a bit smaller because it's really wide. So now make 3 double crochets in the magic ring again. Then chain 2. By now you should have a total of 4 3 double crochet clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pull your loose end, the shorter one, to make this very tight, like so. Then once you've done that, we're going to be slip stitching on the third chain of our starting chain. 1, 2, 3, the third one. So go in with your hook like this and make a slip stitch. And that is it for row 1. For row 2, you're going to chain 1 like so, then skip these 2 double crochets that you have here, and we'll be working into the chain space. Chain space is our 2 chains that we made in the previous row. So everywhere you see those 2 chains, we'll consider it as our chain space. So in the next chain space, we're going to be making 8 double crochets. So now I have a total of 8 double crochets. So once you've done your 8 double crochets, you're going to chain 1 and place a single crochet in the very next chain space. So you're going to skip these 3 double crochet clusters and place a single crochet here. Then chain 1. So now we'll be placing 2 single crochets in the middle of this 3 double crochet clusters. So we're going to skip here and place 2 single crochets in here, like so. So once you've done that, chain 1 I would advise that if you're a beginner, you should place a stitch marker in this chain 1 because this is where we're going to start our next row. But if you're a pro, you can just eyeball it like I would. So after you've chained 1, go into the same stitch with 2 single crochets. So now, once you place your work like this, you'll see that we've formed one side of our heart shape. Now, chain 1, skip this double crochet stitch, and in this chain space, going with a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the 3 double crochet clusters and place 8 double crochets in this chain space. So I've done a total of 8 double crochets. Chain 1, so slip stitch into the middle of this double crochet cluster. So chain 1 and cut. So I'm just going to cut this, then pull through like this. So now we're done with the heart part of this granny square. We're now going to proceed and make the square part. Now remember I told you guys when we did the chain 1 here before making the single crochet that you should place a stitch marker on the chain 1. So now we're going to start from that chain 1 space. If you didn't place a stitch marker, you can just spread out your work like this and look for the stitch that's protruding this way. So this is mine over here. Now to create our square, we're going to insert our hook in the chain 1 space, but note we'll be inserting our hook in the back loop only. So the back loop is going to be the side that's not facing you directly. I'm sitting down like this, so this is my back loop, not the side. Not the side, but the side. So now insert your hook into the back loop of your chain 1 space that you did earlier. Now going with your second shade of yarn, I'm making use of white, yarn over, pull through, then chain 1 to secure the yarn. So what I like to do is to carry this extra yarn along and try and hide it as I walk. In the next stitch, you're going to go in to the back loop only. Every stitch we're going to work around the side. We'll be working on the back loop only. So now for the next stitch, going with a single crochet in the back loop only. In the next, we're going in with a half double crochet. In the next, going with a double crochet. Then going with a treble crochet. Like so. If you don't know how to make the stitches, try and check my description on how to make the stitches at the beginning of the video. So after you've made this, you're going to chain 2. This is going to be our first corner. In the next stitch, which is like the chain 1 that we did here, we're going to go in with a double crochet. Then in the next stitch, going with a half double crochet. As you can see, I'm still carrying this loose the end to hide it. Then in the next 4 stitches, we're going to be going in with 4 single crochets. So I've made 4 single crochets in each of the stitches. So chain 2. Now we're going to repeat and make 4 single crochets in each of the remaining stitches. So now I have made my 4 single crochets. You would notice that you do not have any stitch remaining on this side. The next step is to create a half double crochet in the very same stitch that you slip stitched earlier on. So that's in the middle of this 3 double crochet cluster. And after you've done this, we're going to proceed and make 4 single crochets in each stitch. 1, 2. And I've done a total of 4 single crochets in each stitch. That's 1 in each stitch. Chain 2. Now in the next, going with a single crochet. Now make 3 single crochets extra, 1 in each stitch. You should have a total of 4 single crochets after your chain 2 space, like I have. Now make a half double crochet in the next stitch. And in the next, a double crochet. Then chain 2. Make a treble crochet in the next stitch. Then a double crochet in the next stitch. A half double crochet in the next stitch. Then now we're now back to that chain 1 space that we started our work from. So we're going to be placing a single crochet in there. Now slip stitch into this first single crochet stitch that you have here. And that's the end of row 2. For row 3, you're going to chain 3, and this counts as our first double crochet. Then in that very same stitch, go in with 2 double crochets. That will be our first 3 double crochet cluster. And after you've done this, chain 1. So you're going to skip all of these stitches here. That's a total of 3 stitches, and in this chain space we'll be placing 3 double crochets. Now we are going to be creating another 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2, like so, then 3 double crochet cluster again in the same chain space. You're going to chain 1 and skip 3 stitches, that is 1, 2 and 3. Now place a double crochet in the next stitch, that's the 4th stitch from the hook. So now we'll be making 2 extra double crochets to make it 3 double crochets cluster. Chain 1. Now we're going to be placing 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space that we have here. Chain 2. We are kind of repeating what we did here. This is going to be our corner stitch. Now going with 3 double crochets again in that very same chain space. Once you've done that, chain 1. We're going to skip this 4 single crochets here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and place 3 double crochets on top of this half double crochet stitch that we did in the previous row, like so. Then chain 1. Now we're going to look for the 2 chain space from the previous row and make our corner stitch. That is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So I've done my first 3 double crochets. I'm going to chain 2 and make the second one. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Now chain 1. Since you're working down, you're going to skip 2 stitches. 1. Always remember to drag your cluster stitch so you can see the first stitch. So 1, 2, and place a 3 double crochet cluster stitch in here. Chain 1 after you're done with that, and in the next chain 2 space we'll go in with 3 double crochets. So always note that in every chain 2 space we place in 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So I'm done with mine. So chain 1 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain of our starting chain. So this is how it looks like. So this is the end of row 2. For row 3, you're going to slip stitch in each of the stitches till you get to this chain 1 space. So make a slip stitch. We've already slip stitched into the first stitch here. Now we'll be making a slip stitch into the second, double crochet, then into the 3rd double crochet. Now we are the chain space, so slip stitch into here and make 3 chains. This will count as your first double crochet stitch. Now yarn over and make 2 double crochets in the very same chain space. So chain 1. So you're going to skip this and make 3 double crochets in this chain space. So since we are in the chain 2 space, remember we're going to be making 3 double crochets, chain 2, then 3 double crochets in that space. So after you've done that, chain 1, and in the next chain space you're going to skip this 3 double crochet cluster and place 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Then chain 1, skip this 3 double crochet cluster and place 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Chain 1. Now we are the corner stitch again. We're going to be placing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So once you're done with that, you're going to chain 1 and in the next chain space place 3 double crochets in it. So now you're going to repeat this pattern, that is 3 double crochets in each of the 1 chain space and 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets in the 2 chain space, and I'll see you guys when I'm done with mine. So I've worked my way to the end. I'm now going to make a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of my starting chain. Chain 1 and cut. Mind you, if you're making this for a big project, you can still continue and repeat the same pattern that you made for the last row till you get your desired length and measurement. So pull out and tighten, and that's the end for our very first Heart Granny Square. I hope you enjoyed making this. Now let's make the second Heart Granny Square. So for our second Granny Square, we're going to go ahead and make a magic ring. Chain 3. Remember, this chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Now in this magic ring we're going to place 11 double crochet extra. So I've done my 11 double crochets. So in total we should have 12 double crochets. That's including the 3 chains that you made as your starting chain. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of my starting chain, like so. Now skip the next stitch, that's the stitch after your starting chain, and place 7 trebles in the nest. So yarn over 2 times, remember you have to place 7 trebles in one stitch. So I've done my 7 trebles. Now in the next stitch, go in with a double crochet. Then in the next stitch, 2 double crochets. In the next stitch, 2 double crochets. Now you'll notice that our heart is beginning to form. So in the next stitch, you're going to go in with 2 double crochets, and since this is going to be the tip of our hearts, we're going to chain 1 and make 2 double crochets in that very same stitch. So now for this other side, we'll be mirroring what we did here. So in the next stitch, going with 2 double crochets. In the next, 2 double crochets. In the next, 1 double crochet. Then in the next stitch, we're making our 7 treble crochets in one stitch, remember, like we did here. So I've done my 7 treble crochets, and this is how my heart looks so far. So now we have to close it up so that the side can form the heart shape. To close up this side, we're going to look for where we did our slip stitch in the first row. That is the 12 double crochets, and for me, mine is here. Now go in, that's in that 3 chains you made. In case you're confused, in these 3 chains you made here, go in and slip stitch like so. Chain 1, then cut. And that's it for the heart shape for this round. Now we're going to go ahead and make the square pattern. Now we're going to make the square part. So I'm going to insert my hook in here, the side that has my slip stitch, so in between the 3 chains and the double crochet. So to do that, chain 1 like this, then I would insert my hook in here, that is in between this 3 chains and double crochet stitch in the first row. Then yarn over, pull through to make like a single crochet, chain 1, then chain 3 extra. So once you've done that, in the next stitch you're going to go in, that's here, you're going to go in with a double crochet like so. Then in the next, a half double crochet. In the next, a single crochet. Then in the next, go in with a double crochet. Then in that same stitch, make another double crochet. That's 2 double crochet. Chain 2 and make 1 double crochet in that very same stitch. Once you've done that, you're going to make 3 half double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. So I've done my 3 half double crochets. Now in the next, make 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, another double crochet. Then prepare for a treble crochet and make a treble crochet in the next stitch. So now we're going to be making a double treble crochet in the next stitch. So you yarn over 3 times, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So chain 2 and make another double treble crochet in that same stitch. Then in the same stitch, make a treble crochet. After you've done that, we're going to move to the next stitch. For the next stitch, make a double crochet in the next, a half double crochet in the next, then here a single crochet. So now we've gotten to the side that we did the chain 1. So now we have to slip stitch into this chain 1 space from the previous row. To slip stitch, you insert your hook in the front loop like so and make a slip stitch. Then we're now going to mirror exactly what we did here for this side. So in the next stitch, a single crochet, then a half double crochet in the next, a double crochet in the next, a treble crochet in the next stitch. In that very same stitch, make a double treble crochet, chain 2, then make a double treble crochet again in that same stitch. Now remember, we're mirroring exactly what we did here. In the next stitch, make a treble crochet, then in the next a double crochet, in the next a double crochet again. Now we'll be making 3 half double crochets in the next 3 stitches. So after you've done that, you're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet and chain 2, then 2 double crochets in that same stitch. Go into the next single crochet, make a single crochet, then in the next stitch a half double crochet, in the next stitch a double crochet. So now we've managed to replicate what we did here or here as well. So we're now going to connect the sides together. Now make a slip stitch in the third chain of your starting chain. That's the chain you did after you made the single crochet here. Then chain 3. That will count as your first double crochet. Now we're going to be placing double crochet in each stitch till we get to our chain 2 spaces. Now I'm at the chain 2 space, going with 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space, then chain 2 and going with 2 double crochets in that same space. Continue placing double crochets in each stitch till you get to the chain 2 space. So now I'm at the chain 2 space. Now you're going to go in here with 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So now continue by placing double crochets till you get to this chain 2 space, and when you get to the chain 2 space, place 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So do that till you get to the end of the row, and I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. I'm now at the end. I've already gone round with my double crochets, and I would say for the side you should have a total of 12 double crochets, and for the top part you should have a total of 15 double crochets. 15 double crochets for the bottom and 12 for this as well. So I've gotten to the end, and please remember not to place a stitch in your slip stitch area. So now slip stitch into the third chain of your starting chain, like so, chain 1 and cut. So you're done with the square, go ahead and hide in your loose ends. I'll do mine when I'm done with all my squares. So if you want this to be bigger than how it looks, so you can just repeat the last row for each row till you get to your desired measurement. And this looks really lovely. I love this. I love this so much. Now let's make our third crochet granny heart square. So guys, to create our third heart granny square, we're going to go ahead and make a magic ring as usual. Then chain 3. Once you have your 3 chains, remember that your 3 chains count as a double crochet. So you're going to go into this magic ring with 2 double crochets to make this a 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2, then into the magic ring again, we're going to place a 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2. So we're going to go in with a 3 double crochet cluster again. Chain 2. Now we'll be making our last 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2. So to make this smaller, tug at this shorter loose end. Now we're going to make a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of our starting chain. That's here. And that is it for row 1. So for row 2, we're going to be slip stitching till we get to the nearest chain space. So the chain space is these 2 chains that we made in the previous row. Now slip stitch into the chain space and chain 3. Remember, chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Now go into that same chain space and make 2 more double crochets. Now we have 3 double crochets, chain 2. Now into that same chain space, make 3 double crochets. So unlike the other granny squares that we'll be making, we're not going to chain 1. We're going to skip that and go into the next chain space and make 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2 and make a 3 double crochet cluster in the same chain space. Now you're going to skip those 3 double crochet cluster underneath and make a 3 double crochet cluster in the next chain space. Chain 2, then going with a 3 double crochet cluster again in that same chain space. Now we have 1 chain space remaining. So we're going to repeat this in here. Once you've done this, do your chain 2 and make the last double crochet cluster. This is how it looks like. Now we're going to slip stitch into the third chain of our starting chain, that is here, to close off our row 2. So this is the end of row 2. Now let's make row 3. So now we're going to repeat what we did for row 2. We're going to slip stitch into each stitch till we get to the chain space. And when we get to the 2 chain space here, we're going to make a slip stitch and chain 3. Now go into that same chain space with 2 double crochets. Chain 2, then 3 double crochets in that very same chain. So now we're going to skip this cluster and make 3 double crochets in here. Skip this, make 3 double crochets in here. So now we're going to be changing colors to the white yarn, and the way I like to attach my yarn, I'll have to loosen this and leave it like this. Then I'd go in with my white yarn like so. So to make this tight, you can tie both together, that is the loose end for your white yarn and the pink. But try not to make it too tight. Skip this 3 double crochet cluster and make 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2 and make 3 double crochets again in that same space. So now we're trying to kind of like form the heart shape in the middle, and this will be the outer part for our square. So now we're going to attach our pink yarn again. Remember, loosen up your last double crochet like so, then attach the pink yarn. Remember to tie it to secure it. So now we're going to skip here and place 3 double crochet clusters in here. So now we're going to be attaching the white yarn. I have not cut it from here, so I'll just cut it. So now we're going to attach the white yarn. So attach like we've been doing and secure. So you're going to skip the next cluster and make a double crochet cluster into this chain 2 space. So I kind of try to hide this part as I work, so it's easier to hide this under the corner stitch. Chain 2 and make 3 double crochet cluster in here. So we're going to attach our pink yarn again. Now skip those 3 double crochets, cluster and make 3 double crochet cluster in here. We're going to skip this and now work into this chain 2 space. Place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2. Remember, anywhere you see your chain 2 space, you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2, as that is your corner stitch. So now I've done mine. I'm not going to finish up my 3rd double crochet as I'll be attaching my white yarn. So attach your white yarn, attach like we've been doing. Then you're going to skip this 3 double crochet cluster, and in here we're going to make 3 double crochets in it. So we are at the end. Slip stitch into the 3rd chain of your starting chain to close, and that is it for row 3. I really hate loose ends, and I'm so sorry that this has a lot of loose ends. You can decide to leave it and you can decide to hide it, depends on what you're looking for. Now let's make our row 4. So now for row 4, we're now going to be working with just the white yarn and no longer the pink yarn. So now you're going to chain 3, skip this 3 double crochet cluster and make 3 double crochets in here, chain 2 and 3 double crochets in that very same chain space. We're going to skip here and make 3 double crochet cluster in the next stitch. Skip here and make 3 double crochet cluster in between both of them. So now we're going to skip here and make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, so now we're going to skip this and make 3 double crochets in between this cluster stitch. Skip this, make 3 double crochets in between this cluster stitch. Now into the chain 2 space, we're going to make our usual 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, so into the next space, 3 double crochets, and into here 3 double crochets, then we add the corner stitch again. We're going to go in and place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, now skip this and place 3 double crochets in here. Now we're going to skip this part and place 2 double crochets in here. You know, this is where we did our slip stitch and started our 4th row, if I'm correct. So we're going to be placing 2 double crochets in here because we already have 1 double crochet. And when you're done, insert your hook into the 3rd chain of your starting chain, slip stitch, chain 1, and we are done. Remember, if you want this to be wider or longer, just repeat the last row till you get to your desired measurements. You don't have to stop here, depends on whatever project you're working on at the moment. So that is it for our 3rd granny square. I think this is my favorite. The only thing I don't like about this is the loose ends. The loose ends, I don't like that about it, but I love the way it looks, and I feel this gave more of a square shape than others did. And yeah, let's make the next granny square. To make our 4th granny square, we're going to start by making a magic ring as usual, like so, and chain 3. Now we're going to make 11 more double crochet in it. So 11 plus this one we have here, we should have a total of 12 by the time we're done. So now tug your yarn. Once you're done, I have a total of 12 double crochet. So once you've done that, you're going to slip stitch right into the 3rd chain of your starting chain, like so. And that is it for row 1. So for row 2, you're going to yarn over and make a half double crochet in your very first stitch. That is the stitch that you slip stitched, like so. So once you've made your half double crochet. You're going to go into the next stitch with 4 double crochet. So I've done my 4 double crochets. Now in the next stitch, going with a half double crochet again, and into that same stitch place a single crochet. And once you've done that in the next, make a single crochet. Then in the next, make a single crochet increase, that is 2 single crochets in one stitch. So in the next stitch, going with a half double crochet, then in the next, make another half double crochet. We're going to go back and mirror what we did here. So we're going to make 2 single crochets in the next, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then here 1 single crochet in the next, and in that very same stitch make a half double crochet, like so. So in the next stitch, going with 4 double crochets, like we did for here, and in here make a half double crochet. So the next thing we're going to do is to slip stitch in between our starting chain for the first row, that's here, and this stitch here. And that's it for row 2. You're going to go into the next stitch, that is this half double crochet stitch in here, and make a single crochet. Then into the next, make a single crochet. Now in the next stitch, you're going to make 2 single crochets. Then in the next, 2 single crochets. In the next, 2 single crochets. So after you've done your 2 single crochets, you're going to make 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1 single crochet in here, 1 single crochet in the next. So this is 3 that I've done. So I've made a total of 5 single crochets. In the next stitch, which is the half double crochet we made in the previous row, we're going to make 1 single crochet, then a half double crochet in that same stitch. Chain 1. So if you notice, we've made like half of our hearts. So we're going to replicate exactly what we did here for the side as well. So now we're going to make a half double crochet and a single crochet in the next stitch. Then a single crochet in the next stitch. Remember we did a total of 5, so we're doing a total of 5 here as well. So I've done a total of 5 single crochets. Now we're going to do our single crochet increase, and remember we did that in 3 stitches. So 2 single crochets here, then 2 single crochets in the nest, then the last single crochet increase. So now we have 2 stitches remaining, so we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitch. You can see how beautiful this heart looks. I think this is my favorite heart pattern. So now we've worked into each of the stitches in the round. We're now going to close up our work by slip stitching into the same place you slip stitched for the previous row. That's in between the 3 chains and the double crochet stitch. Then chain 1 and cut. And that's it for the heart pattern for this granny square. Now we're going to go ahead and make the square part with the white yarn. To begin the square part of the granny square, we're going to attach our yarn here, this chain 1 that we did at the tip of the heart after we made the half double crochet. So we'll be attaching the yarn in the back loop only. That's the part that's not facing you, something like this. So I'll be attaching in this other side, not this side. So attach your yarn like so, chain 1, and place a single crochet in that very same stitch. So now you're going to chain 1 and skip 3 stitches. So in the 4th, you go in and make 3 double crochets in the back loop. Then chain 2 and make 3 double crochet cluster in the next stitch. So this is going to be our corner stitch. So chain 1, skip 2 stitches and place 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 2 stitches and place 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Please remember to place all your stitches in the back loop only, like I'm doing. Then in that same stitch, you're going to go in with 2 half double crochets. Like so, chain 2. So this is going to be our second corner stitch, and in the next, go in with 3 half double crochets. So chain 1, you're going to skip the remaining 3 stitches for this side. Please always remember not to include your slip stitch when you're counting. So now we're going to prepare for a treble crochet. That's yarn over 2 times. Then insert your hook in that very same space that you've been making your slip stitches. That's in between the 3 chains that we made in the first row and this double crochet. And make your treble crochet in there. So now we're going to prepare for another treble crochet and make it in here as well. So now chain 1, we're now going to do the same thing we did here for here. So skip 3 stitches. Always remember to count this first single crochet that you have here. If not, you will make mistakes. Then make 3 half double crochets in the next stitch. That's the 4th stitch from the hook. Remember to always place your stitches in the back loop only. Chain 2. Now we'll make 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. So once you have your 2 half double crochet, then make a single crochet in that very same stitch. Remember to always work at the back loop only. Chain 1, skip 2 stitches and make 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 2 stitches and make 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Chain 2, then in the next stitch make 3 double crochets like we did in the other side. After you've done this, chain 1. Now we're left with 3 stitches remaining. We're going to skip all of these, and in that very first stitch that we started from, we're going to make a single crochet in there and slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. And that's it for row 2. Now let's make row 3. For our 5th row, we're going to slip stitch into this chain 1 space. Remember, we just slip stitch into the single crochet stitch, then slip stitch into the chain 1 space and chain 3. Now remember, this 3 chains counts as a double crochet. I'm always repeating this for anyone that's going to skip the previous tutorials and start up with this. Then make 2 double crochets in that very same stitch, chain 1, and we're going to skip this, and in this 2 chain space, remember what I said, in every 2 chain space you'll be making 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that very chain space. So we're going to chain 1, skip this double crochet cluster, and in this chain space we have here, that's in between this and this, we're going to make 3 double crochet stitch. Chain 1, you're going to skip here, and in here, in this chain space, make 3 double crochet clusters. So chain 1, and now we are at the corner stitch again. So just go in and make 3 double crochets in there, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that very same stitch. So we're going to skip this, chain 1, skip this and make 3 double crochets in the chain space. Chain 1, skip this and make 3 double crochets in the chain space. Chain 1, skip here and make 3 double crochets in here, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip here, in this chain space make 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip these 2 single crochets and make 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Chain 1, and in this corner stitch we'll do the usual 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So we're going to skip here and place our last double crochet cluster, chain 1, and we're back to where we started. You're going to be slip stitching, please pardon my hair. You're going to be slip stitching into the 3rd chain of our starting chain. Chain 1 and cut. So you're done with our 4th granny square. So I really like this one as well. I think this and the 3rd one is kind of my favorite, but it depends on what you're using this for. Remember, if you want this bigger, you just have to repeat the last row till you get to the measurements that you want. Now let's make our 5th heart granny square, and it's going to be the last granny square. I'm sure this video is already lengthy. I'm so scared. But let's make our 5th granny square. So guys, we're going to be making our final heart granny square. If you've watched this video to this point, you're the real MVP. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And if you find this video helpful, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel. Now let's make our final heart granny square. So now we're going to begin by making our magic ring as usual. Then chain 3, and once you have this, you're going to go ahead and place 2 more double crochets in this magic ring. Chain 3. Then we're going to go in with 3 double crochets cluster. Remember, you can top this to reduce the size of your magic ring. Now chain 3 and go in with a 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 3. Then we're going to make our last 3 double crochet cluster. This is similar to a normal granny square. Now chain 3. So you're going to tug at the shorter loose end to make this tight. So now we're going to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of our starting chain. So remember, we made 3 chains in the beginning. We're going to be slip stitching in the 3rd chain. So now come to the end of row 1. For row 2, you're going to slip stitch into each stitch till you get to your chain 2 space. So you'll be slip stitching into the next 2 double crochet stitches. And once you get here, you're going to slip stitch into your chain 2 space, chain 3, and make 2 more double crochet stitches in there, like so. So chain 3, Then make 3 more double crochets in here. So now this is going to count as our corner stitch. We're going to be making this in each of the remaining 3 chain spaces that we have here. That is, we're going to make it here, here, and here. So now yarn over and make a double crochet stitch in the next chain space. So we need a total of 3, so I'm going to make 2 more double crochets, just like we did here. Chain 3 and make 3 more double crochet stitch into the chain 3 space from the previous row. Now we're going to skip this and go into the next chain space and make 3 double crochets, chain 3, then into that same stitch 3 double crochets, like so. Now we have 1 more chain space remaining, so skip this and go into the next chain space and make 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, so now we've made our 4 corner stitch and we have no chain space remaining. Now we're going to join by slip stitching into the 3rd chain of our starting chain, and that's it for row 2. So now for row 3 we're going to start forming the heart shape. So slip stitch into each stitch till you get to the 3 chain space that you have here. That's 2 stitches. Now once you get to this space, slip stitch into it and chain 1, like so. So now you're going to skip this 3 double crochet cluster and we'll be working into the middle here, the middle of this and this. So now prepare for a treble crochet. Remember, for a treble crochet you have to yarn over 2 times. So we'll be placing a total of 12 trebles into this space. So I have a total of 12 treble crochets made. So now we're going to skip this cluster stitch here and make a slip stitch in this chain 3 space, like so. So if you would notice, we've already started forming our heart shape. You can see how this is looking like. So now the next step is to skip this next cluster stitch, and now we'll be making 12 treble crochets in between both of the stitches that is here. So prepare for the treble and make 12 treble crochets. So now let's count. So I've done a total of 12 trebles in here. So now we're going to be attaching our white yarn to create a square. So as you can see, this 3 double crochet cluster chain 3, 3 double crochet cluster chain 3 makes up the tip of our heart. So now you're going to turn your work like this. Remember, this is the one that makes up the tip. Now by the side, in between this double crochet cluster and this double crochet cluster, you're going to insert your hook and attach your white yarn like so. Chain 1. So in that very same chain, going with a single crochet and chain 3, then going with a single crochet again into that same chain space. Now we're going to chain 6 and we're going to skip this double crochet cluster and we'll be working into this treble crochet cluster. So now we're going to count 6 treble crochet from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hold on to this and flip your work. Now we'll be inserting a single crochet in the back loop of the bottom of our 6th treble crochet. Chain 3, and in the next treble crochet you're going to do the same thing. Make a single crochet in the back loop of your treble crochet. So turn your work and make sure that your white yarn is not reflecting here. So now chain 6, so you're going to skip all these remaining treble crochets that we have here and move to the next treble crochet cluster. Now we're going to do the same thing. So count 6 treble crochets away from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hold on to the 6, flip your work, and in the back loop of the bottom we'll be making a single crochet like so. So chain 3, and in the next going with a single crochet as well. So chain 6, we're going to skip all of this. We're going to skip this double crochet cluster and we'll be working into here. Now let me turn my work like so. We'll be working into here, that is the space in between this part that makes up the tip and here. So we're going to go in with 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1 single crochet. So as you can see, we have 2 corners here. That's the single crochet, chain 2 single crochet. So we have 2 corners. So the next step we're going to do is to chain 6, then we'll be slip stitching into the first single crochet here. So that's it for the first row for our square. So now slip stitch into the chain 3 here. So chain 3 and going with 2 double crochets like so, chain 2, and in that very same stitch going with 3 double crochets. Remember, this our chain 3 that we did here counts as a double crochet. So chain 1, and in the next chain space, that's this chain 6 space, we're making 3 double crochet. So you're just basically going under the 6 double crochet like so and making your double crochet. So chain 1, and in this 3 chain space here, we'll be going in with our 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So chain 2 and make your 3 double crochets in that very same chain. So chain 1, and in this 6 chain space we're going to be placing our 3 double crochets cluster, then chain 1, and in the next chain space, please pardon my hair, we'll be making 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. That's going to be our corner stitch. So chain 1 like so, and in the next stitch make 3 double crochets, chain 1, and in the next chain space, we're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So this is how it looks like. We're going to chain 1 again and make 3 double crochets in the next chain 6 space. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain here to join. So now for the next row, we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 double crochets, then in this 2 chain space we're going to slip stitch and chain 3. Now going with 2 double crochets like so, chain 2 and make 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So chain 1, skip this double crochet cluster, and in the next chain space make 3 double crochets, chain 1, skip this double crochet cluster, and in the next chain space make 3 double crochets, chain 1, skip this double crochet cluster, and in this 2 chain space we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. That will be our corner stitch, like so. So chain 1 and skip this double crochet cluster, and in the next chain space go in with 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip this, and in here go in with 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip this, and in this 2 chain space we're going to be making our 3 double crochets, cluster, chain 2, 3 double crochets, cluster. So chain 1, skip here, and in the next chain space we'll make 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip here, in the next space 3 double crochets. Chain 1, in this 2 chain space we go in with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So chain 1, skip the next cluster, and in the next chain space you're going to make 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip this and make 3 double crochets in here. So chain 1, and now we're going to be slip stitching into the 3rd chain of our starting chain. Chain 1 and cut. So guys, we are not done with our 5th granny square. This is how it looks like, and it's really pretty. So if I was to use this, I'll probably use it in making a baby blanket or whatever blanket. It's really cute. I like the fact that it pops up like this. And this is where we come to the end of our granny square tutorials. Sorry that the video is going to be lengthy, because I'm sure it's going to be lengthy. I hope you guys can be able to make 1 or 2 of the squares, or even all of them for yourselves. Thanks for watching the video. Please, if you found this video helpful, like and subscribe to my channel. Please, that would really motivate me to make more of these video tutorials for you guys. Thank you so much. And if you have any question at all pertaining to this video, leave it in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching to this point, and I'll see you guys in another tutorial. Bye.